going on, guys? Today we're back with another video, and I'm currently recording this on Tuesday after hours 5:10 of the stock market, and we're going to be talking about the big drop that's going on. So everything's falling down. Trump declared tariffs yesterday, 30% I believe on Canada and Mexico, and 10% on China. So obviously, if you voted for Trump, you saw this coming. I mean, he's been talking about tariffs, and I don't have a political opinion that's very strong either way. But it's what's going on, and that's Trump is affecting the economy greatly, and everything is dropping. So if you have money in the stock market, you're down and you're not really happy, and there's a lot of uncertainty with a lot of companies. So today's video, we're going to talk about it. We're going to start looking at what others investors on YouTube are saying. We're going to start analyzing the news. We're going to start reading stuff. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my take on what you should do. But of course, you're entitled to your own opinion. And while we research this together on what you think you should do with certain companies, maybe buy, maybe sell, is your choice. And that's what we're here for. I'm just walking you through some research that we're going to do on a big market drop. And especially if you're new to investing, this might be the first time that you've seen a market drop. Me as an investor is pretty much the first time. I think I might have had some money in invested before the pandemic, which was a great drop too. But, besides that, we're in a big drop right now. So let's see how other investors and news sources are reacting, and let's do some research here. So obviously, as we can see here, I mean, this is my portfolio, my watch list. This is the stocks I had before. I just cashed out before. I think I have right now I hold Amazon, Google, and Nvidia. I bought Nvidia at 118. I have Google. I think I got Google at 220, and I got Amazon at around 230. So, but I cashed these stocks out 2 weeks ago, so before the drop. But then I proceeded to buy here with Nvidia and Google and Amazon. And obviously, I made a bad investment there and didn't really see the drop, but the drop's happening for multiple reasons, and one of them is the lack of, people buying now. There's a lack of people buying stuff, people buying consumer products in the market, in your market, as Publix, Target. People are not spending a lot than they were, and that happens because of the tariffs. People are scared, they're uncertain, so there's less spending, right? People are spending less. This comes in a lot of factors. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's important to stay calm, and learn that this is. I mean, you're never gonna win and invest. It's very hard for timing, right? Like you can't know 100% of the time when the market is gonna drop, when the market is gonna do well. So when you're buying a stock, like I've said in my 4 core principles video, it's for the long term. You're not buying for a short drop. I mean, you're not buying for, a 3-week investment here. I mean, you're putting in money that you've hard worked. Maybe you're someone like me who's 18, who has a job, and, wants to put in money for their future. I'm not, saving up for a car, maybe saving up for a house. Those are the type. I'm 18 years old. When you're a young person like me, you don't need money. As much as you will need eventually when you have to have your own bills and properties and stuff. So I think a part of working is saving and growing your money savings. And on this channel, I'm going to show you how, and at least research you on some stocks that can do that. So in terms of now, obviously I talked in my first video, buying low. Buying low is definitely an option here, right? Markets dropped, everything's down. All the AI stocks I have saved here are down. This is a stock Nvidia invested in. So overall, the consumer is spending a lot less because, multiple factors, and the market is just reacting to that. This will continue. I don't see the market going up anytime soon, to be honest, until the tariffs start to settle down, maybe, or some agreement happens. But Canada's not happy. Mexico and China aren't happy about this. So I don't see the market going up anytime soon. And I think that as an investor here, I won't say my opinion now. So let's see. Let's go through a couple videos here. I just want to show you, how bad the market's been. We can see here. NASDAQ is down. Everything is just Treasury. The U.S. debt is just continuing to grow, right? It's just a mess. I know crypto was down a lot today, yeah. So I know a lot of young investors probably watch my channel, have a lot of money in crypto. In terms of crypto, in my opinion, I think that it's something that's going for the future, which is a core principle of mine if you're investing, so that's good. But a lot of uncertainty in the cryptocurrency, so I'll definitely make a video just explaining crypto and analyzing it, researching it, saying my opinion. But let's go see what some investors on YouTube are saying about the drop. First video here, we're going to start with Tom Nash. He's pretty well regarded. He's 450,000 followers here, and he's talking about how the market just started to crash. He's an interesting guy. I know he talks a lot about Palantir. He loves Palantir. Obviously, I'm pretty big on Palantir. I haven't bought it yet. I just don't think that. I think it'll keep dropping, and once it drops even more, and once the market starts to recuperate, that's when I'll start to buy. But I think Palantir can go down to 75. I think recording this video, it's at around 85, I believe. I have Palantir at 87. So I think this would drop to 85. He talks a lot about Palantir. He loves Palantir. He said he's invested in. I've watched a couple of his videos. He's invested in since it's $10, $30 days. So he definitely knows a lot about investing. If you're researching, or someone on my channel who wants to learn about Palantir specifically, he's really into that. And let's see what he has to say here.
A lot of investors are sending me messages privately and on our Discord asking me, is this the end of the run? We had a great run. We made a lot of money over the past 2 years. Is this the right time to get out before the crash happens? Now, in today's video, I'm going to answer that question. And this is exactly the sort of video you don't want to miss, especially if you're new to the market, because I'm going to be sharing a lot of very important things. So stay on this video, not the video to skip. This 1.7% is not even big enough to be counted. We know that at least 3 times per year, every 4 months on average, the S&P 500 is going to drop 5%. It's a big drop, a lot bigger than...
Here he's just kind of talking about how, it's not that big of a deal that the S&P has dropped this much, and it usually drops this much. Definitely, I think definitely long term the market has always, been, if you're investing in the right companies, the market has always been going up. So I don't strike him that he's being feared too much. So I don't fear too much, even though I've done not so well in the short term, but it's a long term investment if you're in the stock market.
1.7%. And once per year, the S&P 500 actually drops 10%, which is massive, especially for a stock like Palantir, which is going to be down like 30-35% if that happens. Now,
this lad loves the Palantir, man. If we're going to hear a lot about it.
And again, you may ask, well, Tom, what kind of realities is the stock market foreseeing that show us that there might be a recession on the horizon? Well, the main thing that people are terrified about is the tariffs. The Donald Trump.
So obviously, that's why the market is reacting, right? People are scared that the market is gonna crash because of the tariffs. I think it could. It could well easily. I mean, this is not something that you should, I don't think it's. I don't know why the tariffs are. I mean, I understand that Trump wants more U.S. companies to start growing manufacturing and, basically have, be unreliable from other countries. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's part of the U.S. to, be kind of the global, I guess, driving force. And since the U.S. has, by the best army and, obviously the most money or top, I don't know, GDP wise, he's trying to do his own thing, right? We don't have to rely on anybody else, but that's just, it doesn't work like that. And especially when China, or one of the biggest manufacturing country in the world, and you start giving those 10% tariffs up, and I mean, long term, I don't even think how that makes sense. Everything is just going to go up in price, right? Because let's say, a U.S. Company starts to make manufacturing for, let's say, toys, right? Because that could be any manufacturing, a toy, a chair, whatever, that's made in China, right? So China's tariffs, 10%, they don't want to sell it to us anymore. But we got a guy from America, right? This is what we wanted. So the cost of labor to make that in the U.S. is a lot higher than it is to make in China, because obviously China, the currency is a lot lower, and they pay the minimum wage there is a lot less. And the wages there, and is a lot less than making that in the U.S. So automatically that that price change is already huge. Obviously the shipping and whatever is going to be less, but that it's not going to accumulate when you're paying someone a big difference in the wages to do that. And it's way more money to do it here in the U.S., and that's going to raise everyone's prices. So not only are the tariffs going to raise prices, even if once the tariffs go through, and let's say 3-4 years after, a U.S. manufacturing company starts to make stuff, it's still going to go up. The prices of things are going to go up. And tariffs are automatically going to go up. That's why the market's scared of the recession. I mean, I talked about it in the beginning of the video. He's talking about it now. So definitely something to look at. The tariffs is the biggest thing right now that's hurting the economy. And let's see what other reasons he says here.
Trump tariffs that are supposed to basically collapse the U.S. economy. Now, on top of that, of course, you have the Fed being stubborn and basically slowing down and dragging their feet with lowering interest rates. They've promised they'll do it, like Dad promised to take you to Disneyland, but sometimes it doesn't happen because he has to work through the weekend. Personal story here. Apply taxes on incoming goods. Eventually, these taxes are going to be rolled over to the consumers, naturally, and the consumers will have to pay more for the same products. And those extra payments are going to push up inflation and diminish our buying power, and then eventually that might be recessionary and inflationary, maybe even causing a stagflation, which is an elevated inflation and a recession at the same.
All right, he's just talking about kind of when I started in the beginning of the video. Everything's going to cost more. Inflation will go up because, the tariffs are going to be more. I mean, the tariffs are going up, right? So the imported goods are coming 10% higher from China. So now, obviously, companies are going to have to, make their products cost more because, the parts that China is bringing into them are now 10 more percent. So now China's got to charge 10% more for the imported goods to come in. So now now the company has to charge another 10%, to whatever their product is. And if they have multiple products that are coming in from China, they got to charge 20%. So, obviously, inflation will rise. And a recession will probably arise with that too. So, that's what he's talking about here mostly.
Same time. So that is the fear, right? That is the panic because of the
fear.
tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you look at the
I
University
fear.
of Michigan market sentiment, consumer sentiment, it is down. It is down to 64%, the lowest it's been since 2023. And a lot of people are looking at that as an indicator. Why? Because, well,
So consumer spending is down, right? Because people don't know if usually there's a certain amount of goods that people spend, right? What you need in general, and then there's the little margins that people spend more in a specific time period. That's how it determines the market goes up or down in terms of consumer products. So when you're looking at consumer products, some consumer product, Walmart, Target, let's take a look at those stocks. Amazon, right? On my watch list. Consumer product, basically. Today it's up, surprising. One of the only companies up. I bought it. But let's look at 1 month here. Whoa, right? I bought it at 230, around here. 1 month, and it's down at 212. Consumer product, my friend. Amazon's got to spend more too now. Not a lot of people are spending consumer product. As you can see, Tom Nash just told us here. Let's check Walmart. You know, the difference is that, you know, people need and then people want. How much they're willing to spend on these products, it's starting to lower in this. Walmart's up today. Let's see a month here. Down. Right? Sounds like right about when the 19th. So right when it was announced that the tariffs were coming out, Walmart crashed. I mean, it's just that it's a trend here. It's down on the on the month. It looks like it's about the same, but it's all these consumer product. I mean, the whole market is down in general, but all these consumer products are down a lot. Let's check one more here. Target. Wow, so yeah, Target's been tanking since the beginning of the month. You know, tariffs probably got announced right here, the 19th. 19th was Friday. I think so. 20th. It's just the way it is. That's how the market's moving. Now you can kind of see what stock you're going to want and what stocks you're going to stay away from here. And when you're in consumer products and tariffs coming in, it's going to be hard to try to invest in these type of companies. I mean, even Amazon, man. I love Amazon. You know, long term, I think that Amazon will always prevail. I mean, I feel like some companies are just, you know, some stuff that you just use every day, but Amazon will drop right now. And the consumer product will drop too, just like we've seen.
Recessions are kind of self-inflicted, and I'll explain. A lot of time where we fear that there may be a recession on the horizon, what we do, we stop spending. And we say, well, if we expect bad times, maybe it's not a good time to buy that new vehicle or the new house or the new television or whatever the case may be, right? So we're slowing down our consumption in anticipation of a recession, therefore causing a recession to happen, because if everybody stops spending, retail sales go down, people lose their jobs, you know, they spend even.
People are spending less. That's what happens to the market. You know, it just goes down with it.
Less money and so forth and so forth. So a lot of this recession stuff are cyclical. They're almost, you know, a self-fulfilling prophecy to a point. So when you have, you know, consumer sentiment being down, a lot of people are saying, well, that is, a good reason to be afraid, to be fearful about what's going to happen. And I get it, right? The average bull market in America lasts about 1,500 days and yields about 150% on the S&P 500.
So he starts to go more into AI here. He starts to say that AI is going up. Revenues are going up. They're always profitable. He's right. I mean, AI is one of those stocks where, I mean, it's a lot of, dependent more on the company, I guess, and how well the company is spending on AI. But at the end of the day, NVIDIA's chip maker is a Taiwan Semiconductor. So if we look over here, the Taiwan Semiconductor is what makes NVIDIA's chips. So, and they're obviously in Taiwan. Well, obviously they have to ship obviously they have to ship it from Taiwan to the United States. Now, here's a problem. China is trying to invade Taiwan. So, China gets Taiwan. That won't be too good for NVIDIA. I mean, it's just so many factors that the tariffs. Since the tariffs is such bad relations, making such bad relations with China mostly and other countries, it's affecting the market. And he's right. At the end of the day, like, the market will always go up. I mean, you're investing for the long term, but the most important thing that you should be doing is buying small chunks when the market is down. I don't think I think we're going low, but we can go lower. And once we keep going lower, that's when you start to buy a little more. Right? In my first first video, it's the first one of the first principles is, buy when this market is low. Buy when everyone's freaking out. But I believe that they have really good reasons to freak out. And it will drop more, but it will obviously eventually blow over. And like he said, he gave a really good example of how the Dow, how many times, he has a graph here, how many times the Dow has gone down. I mean, how many times the Dow has had examples of, right here, reasons to sell on the Dow, and it's always been on top, right? So obviously the market will always go up, so you don't have to worry about that. What you should be worrying about is when to buy. And it's the time to buy when the market is low. And right now we have a low market. So, an example here with the Taiwan Semiconductor is just, NVIDIA is such, he talked about AI, so I want to talk about it a little bit. NVIDIA is such a big company and an AI company that a lot of people want to invest in, but you gotta these are like the little things that you have to research and know about. If you want to invest in any company, you have to know what manufacturing they're getting it from, this is where the chips are coming from, which is the most important part of NVIDIA. Right? NVIDIA kind of, sends the prototype to them, and then they make the actual chip. So let's get into another analyst on YouTube and see what they say. But I like Tom Nash. He's a good. I watch him. I agree with him in Palantir. So let's get into another one. All right, here we have this guy's name. We have Invest with Henry. I've seen him before. I watched only one of his videos, and he talks about the fact that how his top 3 stocks something of 2025, and I watched that video. He has Tesla. Personally, I'm not a fan of Tesla. I don't think that I think right now it's short term. It's just not really. Maybe long term, which is always what you're going to look for anyway, but its earnings have been pretty bad recently. They went down $1 trillion in I think it was revenue or something. It went down $1 trillion. I should probably research that a little more. But I just don't like the company. I don't think that electric cars are efficient. You got to go. What if you're trying to do you can't really take it on a road trip anywhere. You got to have buying a charger is probably very effective for having in your house, but You can't just stop at a gas station anywhere when you're running low on an electric fuel, and you got to wait there 20, how much, 30 an hour if you can find one, and how long you can find one. When I can just stop at a gas station, and fill my Honda gas up for $30. I don't know. I don't think it's convenient. I think it has a lot more time. I think if you tell me that there's an electric, charging machine that lasts, 10 minutes, maybe, right? Because you don't want to, you're a gas station, you last 5 minutes. So, if it lasts 10 minutes and it's convenient, sure. And it's at every gas station, sure. I'll buy the stock, obviously. But I think it has a lot more to go for convenience. And I see that taking a while. But, so I don't know. I don't like Tesla that much, and it's not been doing good recently either. So, but he's entitled to his opinion. I would watch his videos too. See what he says about Tesla. If you like Tesla, if you don't like me, tail me, don't fade me.
There's a lot of volatility. I want to present my research to you. This is going to be a very important video. No webinars, no courses, nothing like that. Let's get right to the point. I respect your time, and I want to give you a quick summary up front before I go into the details of my research. So what I'm seeing right now is bearishness from investor sentiment, and a lot of investors are very fearful of the market. For example, I have multiple data points here I found from friends working on the ground on Wall Street, as well as personal investors that I'm helping. They have had the most bearishness I have seen in the past 12 months. Now, this in and of itself is not a bad thing. However, when enough investors become bearish, that is a bad thing for the market short term. I still want to reaffirm that I am bullish on the market in 2025 in the long term, but short term, I'm becoming more cautious. I'm actually shifting my personal plan to becoming a more conservative investor. I still believe in tech companies. You guys know that I have Palantir, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD. I have a whole lot of tech companies, but right now I'm doing my best to hedge my positions by using covered.
So he named a couple of those companies. I'm just gonna say I like Nvidia. I don't know too much about AMD. Obviously I like Palantir. I just stated why I don't like Tesla. He's talking a lot about the fact that, his friends and investors are kind of scared. I don't think anyone cares or remembers asking, so I don't even know why he would bring that up. I'm sorry that, Rita at work fucking invested in Google or in whatever, and invested in Palantir the other day and it went down 10%, dude. What can I do? So why would we know that? That was, I don't know. That was really weird.
Call options. I'll also specifically talk about Palantir in this video because I think it's a good time to de-risk, and it's increasingly looking like a pullback in Palantir may continue. This is because of some troubles with Alex Karp. This is also because of the valuation of Palantir and, again, where the investor sentiment is for the stock. And the last thing I want to say is I'm still bullish.
Do not invest in Palantir yet. It's going to drop a lot more. And once it drops a lot more, that's when we'll invest. And I'll definitely make a video when I invest. AI
has to grow in 2025. The reason for it is
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. It will. It's AI. It's AI. Now, the problem with me with AI is a lot of these companies are in a race right now with AI. Who's going to win the race? No one knows, right? So, it happened with Intel, Apple, Google, 10 years ago when we came out with the iPhones and all the technology in the beginning. Right, Apple, Google, all these companies, like not Amazon, but Apple, Google, Intel, we're kind of the three very tech. I'm probably missing a couple, but they were in an AI race, right? And everyone was going up, and everyone was investing in these companies, and boom, Intel down the drain. When was the last time you heard of someone having an Intel computer, man? It's 2025, right? So. You gotta, AMD, these companies are all in an AI race. Who's gonna win? Who will fall off? That's the scary part. That's what people don't think about. That, there's gonna be winners and there's gonna be losers. Pay attention to the AI. But it will grow up no matter what, So definitely invest. Just invest in the right companies.
Apple actually comes before all the AI stocks. Although I believe in the AI revolution, Apple is my biggest position because of brand. I also have several other stocks. I've had Walmart.
I want to talk about Apple because that is a very reliable stock. Everyone has Apple. You got to think about stocks that you basically use every day. I mean, Apple will continue to grow, and I think that, a lot of people internationally have Samsung. No problem with Samsung, but I feel like eventually the world will start going more into Apple. I think Apple will start to create cheaper products and cheaper iPhones, more affordable iPhones, and that's a brand, right? A staple brand. He brings up a good point.
As she had the smartest advice I've literally seen, better than Tom Lee, better than Dan Ive. What she said was absolutely genius.
All right, we don't need all the glaze. That was a little too much. That was like, 10 seconds?
Strategist Julie Biel, as she had the smartest advice I've literally seen, better than Tom Lee,
She had a good
better
quote.
than Dan
So you gotta
Ive.
say, bro.
What she said was absolutely genius. The clip is 2 minutes, but it will show you how to navigate a turbulent market, and then I'm in your portfolio.
Ride out this wave of uncertainty. Julie Biel is chief market strategist and portfolio manager at Kane Anderson Rudnick and a CNBC contributor. How frustrating is a day like this,
Watch
Julie,
CNBC.
and a week like this? Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think this is actually one of those markets where you really have to have a lot of conviction, and that is what allows you to stay zen. That's the real key. Is you don't want to just be doing things for the sake of doing things. It's the opposite of the old adage. Don't just do something, sit there. As long as you have good quality companies, you should be able to ride out this turbulence.
That's another kind of a deep allusion there to Buffett and Munger, who famously said, inaction is the hardest thing. You're trying to emulate them in other ways too. Tori.
All she said was that if you have good companies, they're not gonna do bad. What? Telling me the sky's blue? Come on, man.
What was our mystery chart? Julie, what was our some of your stock picks? Okay. That's not one. Advanced drainage, Julie, is what we were teasing today. I don't think anyone would have guessed that. Why is it on your radar?
Yeah, I think there's so much excitement and hype around AI, and I really do think that is going to be very transformational technology, but I also think it's going to be really flattening technology in terms of suddenly it's going to be really table stakes to have a high level of information access, analysis, optimization. And for me, I'm really much more excited about companies that are grounded in the physical real world, right? AI isn't going to fix clean water the way that advanced drainage and their pipe solutions are. So I think companies that are really grounded in the world that we have are actually more compelling to me because they're better able to differentiate themselves. Simpson is another great example. That's a company that has 70% market share in the kind of sure tie, strong tie for structures for home building, or something like a West Pharmaceutical, which manages the injectable drugs. It's the drug delivery systems. We know that there's going to be more injectable drugs. AI isn't going to really touch that, and so it's these kind of real-world companies that I'm really attracted to right now.
Yeah. All of that said, do you look at the broader economy right now? Some of the data, and none of these stocks are really consumer plays, but there has been a bit of a weakening.
Absolutely. And I think that it's really important for us to bear in mind that while we look at all of the data around infrastructure spend, manufacturing, all of that, what's so critical is to recognize that we thought there was going to be a recession in 2023. We think that there are so many challenges facing this market. And the fact of the matter is, it's the jobs market, stupid, right? The strength of the jobs have really been what has propelled this economy. And it makes sense. This is a consumer-driven economy. The more that we can recognize that the health of the jobs market is what really is going to determine our fortune, especially in the near term, I think the better we can all recognize.
Okay, what we saw there from Julie Biel is that she believes in companies that are driven and have an actual real physical world component, like clean water, right? Like, consumer staple companies.
Yeah, come on. Companies that you use every day is all he's saying. And all she's saying. Companies that will not stop to do well. You think people are going to stop using Uber? The only reason people would stop using Uber is if they turn into robotic cars, which will happen, which NVIDIA is making, which I will be making a video on, which you should invest in. Anyway, I'll give you another example because that was kind of bad. Apple is a good example. Amazon is a good example. You think people are going to stop using Amazon? I mean, people, especially the lower generation, is just getting lazier. And that was okay corny, but people are getting lazier. Our age and the younger generation is getting lazier. So obviously the deliveries in Amazon won't go down. Even people older, it's never going to stop, right? People are always going to need stuff, and they're not going to want to go to a specific store to get a specific item. When can they just order it online? Cost $6 to get a wire. Where am I going to get a specific USB, whatever. My point is Amazon, those type of companies. Even, I mean, she talks about a lot, I guess, about like water utilities, like stuff like that. Obviously, I don't think that'll go down. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of like it seems like a low, steady kind of improvement company. If you're investing in a water utility company, I mean, I don't know how much you believe in that. You could. I mean, if you believe in it, I don't know. Everyone's got their thing.
She talked about in a longer clip, I didn't include it to save your time, but she talked about consumer staples, okay? So actual, real, physical goods are very important in this economy. And brands, as I mentioned, something like a Walmart or an Apple. These are phenomenal choices to have in your portfolio. And actually, I plan to add more unique stocks on this YouTube channel. I'm gonna continue to do research because
Walmart has a lot of competition, right? I mean, you also got to look at that. You got to look at companies that have very little competition. Who's competing with Amazon? Alibaba? eBay? Come on, man. Who's competing with Apple? Samsung? Motorola? Come on, man.
right now, the thing you need to know is this is a consumer-driven economy, okay? You need to look at the strength of the consumer. And in my opinion, the consumer is a little bit weak right now.
It is weak right now. And he's right. It is a consumer. Julie was right about that. It is a consumer economy, right? I mean, market reacts. I mean, just like I showed you, the market reacts about what we do. We spend less on consumer products. The market will go down. It's just a result. Prices cost more. We're gonna spend because of the tariffs. So we're gonna spend less on stuff. All right, it's gonna go down. Right.
I bought shares prior to earnings. They reported good earnings and the stock went down. Does that make me wrong? I guess it does. The ex-CEO himself would have also been wrong though. So
because expectations are high and they've been higher than they ever will, than there ever have been. And we talked about that. He talked about that too. And I think that Nvidia reporting on Wednesday, definitely do not buy. Google reported not even that bad last earnings report. I don't think so, at least, because I invested in them right before, and I got it bad. So don't. I mean, it's my advice. I did it and it didn't work for me. If you do enough research and you see that the earnings report will be high, then you could probably, buy, but I don't know, it's not mine.
So from a market timing perspective, you have to be invested in the market because history shows that not being invested is a really huge mistake. But at the same time,
if you put it in a savings account and it grows, I think it grows a little percentage. Just invest. You have to invest in the market, especially when you're a young investor. Invest in the market. Please do this. Please do this. It will make you money in the future. It will just continuously grow your money. And when you're young, you don't need that money. I'm done with this guy. I'm sick and tired of this guy.
Very critical time.
But he brings up good points, similar points to what Nash said, Tom Nash, where he talks about long term. Obviously, you're not in it for the short term. Talks about the consumer a lot, how we run we run the market, right? So we spend less. Take a look here at CNBC. but yeah, I mean, this is just, I was looking through CNBC, looking through some articles. I recommend always watching CNBC in the morning. I just have it on. I mean, I make eggs in the morning. I always have it on the TV. You know, if I'm on my computer, I have 2 desktops, so, you know, I'm always on the other desktop always has CNBC. Tune in once one of your stocks gets talked about. Palantir gets talked about. I mean, the good stocks get talked about a lot, and it's important to just hear different perspectives from different people. You know, that's why I try to do this. That's why I try to hear from other people. I can go over some CNBC clips too of other investors, other analysts. You know, obviously these are just some guys, very good investors on YouTube, and no disrespect, but obviously there's levels, and you know, I'm here for you as a guide to for research in the market and to just keep you updated in the market. Here is the CNBC article of that Tesla's market cap sinks to below 1 trillion, so their market cap, and the stock dropped 8%. Everything dropped a lot, but 8% is a lot for today, more than usual. And I mean, the thing is, it's dropped 25% since the start of the year. I mean, to talk about Tesla now, it clearly hasn't, a 3-month hasn't gone, it went down. 1 month gone down. 6 months is gone. It's gone up 100 in 6 months, which is really good, to be fair. And that definitely, it's gone up in 1 year and 5 years. It's obviously you can see though that the market long term here, even in a year, if you invested in a stock like Tesla last year, you would have made, you know, it's $100 from the stock. So depending on how many stocks you buy. Shares you buy. It's a long-term market. You will make money in the long term. You will make money in 6 months if you invest in the right companies. Let's see. If you invested in Tesla, you would have made money. So obviously, you would have made the same amount of money, $100. So invest is my advice. Not now. I think you still have to wait a little, but slowly. You know, you can put in. I wouldn't mind putting in a little bit in Nvidia. I mean, I would report. I would stay away from Nvidia until earnings. But let's see my watch list here. I would put in a little bit in Uber. Uber went up to 85. It's always been reporting good. It went up to 85. Let's do in 1 month here. It went up a lot. It was at 65 the last month, and then it went up big, and then it started to drop. So, you know, be cautious. I would wait for the market. You know, this is not a bad sign. I mean, it is a bad sign, of course, but, you know, long term, it's not a bad sign. And I think these investors proven it to you. These analysts and investors. You got to be careful, be cautious, like I've said. And I would lay back, just pay attention though. Always, you know, paying attention to what Trump says. You know, that's one of the most important parts of the economy right now. And I would hold back from investing. I'll probably make a video on when I invest, what I invest in, and let's go on a journey here. Let's track once, you know, because I did cash out my stocks. So I had all of these stocks and I cashed them all out before the drop about 2-3 weeks ago, and I bought like an idiot. I bought Google at 180, 200, and I bought Amazon and Nvidia. I bought Nvidia about 118. And I bought Amazon at about 220. So I haven't been doing too well recently. But, I'll definitely tell you when I buy next. And you can tail me together or fade me. Maybe buy options against the companies I buy. I don't know. But, you know, at the end of the day, just wait. And that's the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a good time analyzing these corny guys. I actually like Tom Nash. He's actually kind of chill. He's a funny lad. But invest with Henry. Come on, man. So it's my stock market advice, for the price market drop for today, and my analyzing of other investors. So yeah, see you guys in the next video.